Welcome to Class Training for Enthusiasts. My name is Tony Patrick Agbogun, and we are here to talk about Ansible, which is part of our configuration management tool. I think this is the first time I'm going to be taking Ansible in our Class Training for Enthusiasts, because most time we will be focusing on as Terraform. After Terraform, we'll move to the next and moving. But I see that this class is more interesting about automation. So we are venturing into Ansible because we want to explain little and everything about Ansible. So Ansible is just a configuration management tool that uses, most times does not use this agent. It's agentless. What does that mean? It means that Ansible itself serves as a bridge. It helps you to manage multiple applications, multiple servers at once across different instances or different virtual machines. You can also use it to install, you can also use it to manage the host server when it's properly installed. For example, this is your local system. You can install Ansible on it, and from the Ansible, you can link to any of the server. You understand, and work. You understand. So what I mean by, if you have Ansible in your local system, you can update patches, you can start service, you can shut down services, you can install application with the Ansible. And the advantage is that if your resources have access to other remote server, you can directly, you understand, update those patches at a go. So that's one of the most important powerful tools, one of the most important things Ansible have come to do for us. So what does that mean is that instead of if you have 1 million servers, instead of you logging to 1 million servers at the same time, which is going to give you a big problem, all you just need to do is to design your fact. All you need to do is to get your fact. How many people do we have here?
It's me. Send me. I just want to step away from my laptop. Okay. My phone.
All you need to do is to get your fact. Facts are just the variables, your variables, and your files, your dependency. You just design your fact, design your playbook, then design your fact, then you do some most part of your playbook is also there. A playbook is that instruction that the Ansible is going to follow through. You understand, to install the application. So you design your playbook, then you run your script. And if you do this, what will happen? The Ansible playbook will automatically install and do that instruction. So Ansible is more of a configuration management tool. What does that mean? It means that for you to use Ansible, you have to know the kernel that you are going to be running that instruction on. For example, if these systems are on Ubuntu, what configuration tool are we using? What are you going to be using? That means you need to install. At default, you can use apt, right? To manage. But what if it's on Brew? What if it's MacBook? You use Brew, right? No, but Ansible may not be able to manage this one if this one is hidden under this. So let's remove this slide to not confuse us. I'm trying to explain about past things. Okay, if this is MacBook, Mac OS. So what you can do, you can write a playbook that manage all Ubuntu. You can also write another playbook that manage all OS or Mac OS. You understand? So the same playbook, but you can define the server that is going to be resting on. So, for example, now look at this similar playbook that I was building on. You see this playbook, clear? See this particular playbook. This playbook is just a simple playbook to install Jenkins server. You can see it said the name of the playbook is this. The host is the server that is going to be working on. Understand? Then the task. This is the task. Install Java. Then what is going to install in Java? Homebrew, name of the app. No, Homebrew is just, Homebrew now is just a normal package manager, right? I also call it brew. It will still work. It's Homebrew to work. This one is a simple application. For example, if I want to update, let's assume I want to run this playbook. And the purpose of running this playbook is just to update my server. What do I need to do is just to comment this one out and just say update. I will say playbook. Okay, let me leave that first one. I'll come here. I had another task, right? Control C, Control V. And this task will be what? Update. Update what? Update patches. Now, what do I do? So on brew, if you want to update, you say brew update, Abby. Just like that. So if I want to install, so what this book will do, this playbook, you first of all run, you go to the Homebrew, and no, but it's going to follow it step by step. But I don't want to install Java, so I would comment this line of task out. So now I just have update Homebrew. Let's say, which other application? Can somebody tell me something to install? I don't want to use Jenkins now. Let's install which application I just mentioned. Install what?
Install what? Okay.
Install PyCharm. PyCharm.
Spell.
PyCharm.
PyCharm. ARM.
A for apple.
ARM. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I will now do, I'll say Homebrew install PyCharm.
Enter.
Okay. You can see it's a line here. Okay, now, so what it will do is this. Now I said this is what I want him to do. First of all, issue. This is the name. This is the host of the server is going to work on. This is what he's going to do. I can decide to make it more interesting. It's okay. Check. Or let's first of all let's do something like this. Let me use this become. No, let me not use become. Become will be. Let me use stateless and stateful. Let me use this simple stateful. This one, okay. Sorry, I've really become. When you use the word become, you're actually telling it to assume the root user or to assume an access. Okay, let's just where are we? We are using this, right? Okay, now let's put this thing here. Let's put this. Now let's give it these two condition. This condition says, what does this condition mean? It means that if it exists, it should not install it. But if it does not exist, it should install it. Okay, now let's run on that. Let's run a single ping. Maybe you want to ping that server if it's working. You understand me? So let me use this one. Control C. Let's come here. Press our Jenkins. Let's just add these tasks to it. A task is what you want Ansible to do for you. You understand me? It's just known as tasks. It's just normal tasks now. You understand me? Task means do this for me. That's just tasks. So these are the things that Ansible is going to do. So you can have more than one task. So the tasks have a name, then followed by the action. So let me do this. Okay. Now you can see name, ping. So what I want you to do, I just want you to just single ping. So let's start with the first thing. Let's hit ping first. Then after pinging, it will update. Then after updating, it should install PyChat. Right? Let's do that. Let's remove this ping first. So this is a single playbook that I've written in. So this one talks about the action it's going to do. This one talks about the host. That means the server is going to work on. This task is what it's going to do. You understand me? Test, ping it. If it ping works, update patches by running simple brew update. Then after I finish updating, I say you should install PyChat. If it's not exist, if it's not, it doesn't work. So now I've run this, I've written this playbook. Now the next thing I have to talk about the server. This is the host. So any server that I want this playbook to run on, then you have to use it. You see this bracket is actually used this is like a variable. You understand me? So if I use this variable, it means that I can call this variable inside this playbook. You see this playbook, you see this host you see here. It's actually, if you want to list, because I told you can have more than 5 servers. Like this one, this is a server, I say local host. I can give it another server. You can see all this server now, this list. I can decide to duplicate this list. Control C. Then maybe this particular server I want to work on. This one is MacBook. The other one is Control V. Now I can give it say 1. Then this one should be 2. This one should be 3. You understand? So what am I saying is that if I want the Ansible to work on these servers, it can be 20. You understand? What I will do, I will just call this server name. This is the server group. If I want you to work on this server, what will I do? I will also call the server group. You understand? So this is the 2 playbook that I've written. Then this is the playbook, what I want Ansible to do for me. Take note, is indentation crazy. You must take note of the indentation. So like the first one, name, host, task. This is the 3 major these 3 major actions that must be present in a playbook: name, host, and task. You can have more. You can have assume role is there. That's if you want to add this role to it. But that's this, if I want to use become role, that become is actually, I want that server to, I want this, my playbook, to take the root user permission. So I'll just put become here. Then if I say become true, meaning that before this playbook runs, we first of all assume the root user permission. You understand me? To run this. But homebrew is not best practice to use homebrew as root. So so it's not going to become anything. So let's take it here. Now I save this and I open this playbook. Or let me make it more neater. So let me just open a fresh, say as Ansible sample as a folder. Then let me drag this. Let me just say sample. Let me remove this name so I do not confuse people. Let me use sample. ANS Ansible. Then we'll track it inside that sample book. Then this is the host. Tracking this with the sample book. Then open the folder inside. Let's say open integrators open. I'm inside. If I say ls, you can see it's inside here. Make sure they are safe. Control S. And Control X. You notice that one of them is in YAML, the other one is in text file. You understand? So you can pass your facts using text file. You can also pass it using text file. You can also pass it using YAML file too. But so if I want to run this playbook, I will just say Ansible -playbook. Then if I'm using variables, I use -i. Then my host name, which is my host. Understand? Then the playbook. What's the name of the playbook sample? Then if I run it, if it does not have syntax error, it will run. You can see it's running now, it's updating. You see, the first one, what it does, it connects to the first stuff, then it tests it, the reachability. It worked, right? Now, when it was not time to install, it returned an error. I had how many errors? Do I have any error? Yes, update patches. The reason why it has that error is because that server that is running in that remote is supposed to be a simple apt server, but I'm using Brew, so it will not work. Now let me change the configuration file. Let me use apt. You can see I'm using Brew, right? Let me use apt. Use apt. Syntax. Then states. Let me use the states command here. And say running or become or present. Let me use present, right? What I'm trying to say is that check if it's there. If it's not there, but there's no need of saying patch present. It doesn't make any sense. You understand? So no need of putting it there. Let me put it here. Now, these servers that are listed here, they are not real servers, right? They are I just generated the server from the local host. You understand? So you're going to assume Linux regular Ubuntu, but you can put a real server here, a real system. You can put it here. Okay, now let's run this again. If I run it, you can see what did it came back, updating caches, auto install dependency, Python 3, apt. What did you say? Now you said update patches, update cache and auto installing missing dependency, Python 3 apt. So it's not work. So let's go back to let's go back to, it said apt is not present. Let's go back to Brew. Let's use Brew. But in your own local system, just use apt, it will work, right? So let's save this. Say there's an issue in name here. Most times we give you issue there, but that's not where the issue actually is. The issue is not here. The issue is the Brew that I'm using. It's actually home brew, not Brew. That's why it's giving me the error. Update patches. So you can see, first of all, what it did is that it gathered the fact, And you say platform Darwin host server 2 is using the discovery interpreter Python 3 feature is working. Server 2, you understand, is working. Then server 1 and 2 is working down. Now when I go get to the task, patches, he said fighter no available formula. So this one, it works though, but just that it didn't complete the actions. It returned one failure. I mean, 2 success. So I think, are you sure that application you want us to install is working? Okay, let's try it again. Let's try a simple, let's remove this, install this. Let's see if it runs on its own. Control. And then let's run it without that particular one. So update patch. Okay. It's the patches that is giving us issue. Failed, unreachable. Failed, message warning, no available formula with the name update. Okay, update is not available for Brew. Brew, how do you update Brew? It's not Brew update, have you?
Yes, brew update. It's update brew.
So he's saying there is no formula like update. Okay, let me use install update. Let me see if it runs. The install update was an invalid package. Install update. So to get this correct one so that you'll not be making mistake, right? You can just go to their site.
Okay. PyCharm self no work.
Hmm?
PyCharm too dey work.
PyCharm, no, you not go run that. That's one thing about it has an error, so it will return that error then until you correct it. If you go to Ansible site, Ansible playbooks under Ansible, here's the Ansible playbook. Go for Brew. So you can understand all the things you need to use for Brew. Please come here to practice more. So it's just it's as simple as the way I'm doing it. There's nothing more about Ansible that you are doing, but there are more dimension to it. There are more dimension to it. You can also run Ansible from another file from init, YAML syntax. Okay, let me go for Homebrew. Homebrew module. This is the Homebrew module. You can see. So this is what I'm supposed to do is this. Community, we have. So this is it. You can use update Homebrew through upgrade head present general Homebrew. So we have I want to run that now. Name Homebrew, name full name. No, let's say update Homebrew. True. So let's add it to our syntax. Come here. Say so you save. Let's see. And if a change false message, what even bro say update is already in progress. This way for the to finish to terminate. Change false active umbrella progress already. So wait for you to terminate. So this one's successful. Understand? So what happened is that they were all upgrading simultaneously, right? So this one of the server successful, the other many two did not successful. I think we can pass in F10, let's say 20. Let's see, if we pass 20, I think it's supposed to wait. Supposed to wait for all of them. You understand? So it's supposed to, if you pass 20, there's a way you can do it in interval so that you know why this one is failing is because one system, right? These local hosts that I'm using, they are all residing in one system, which is this local system. So Homebrew cannot be running the same time. But if they were actually different servers somewhere else, what would have happened is that they would have been running, you understand? Each server would just be running. Exactly. I think let me reduce the number of servers. Let me see if, yes, let's reduce the number of servers so that we can, where's our server, our host? This is our host. We have 3 servers, right? Let me reduce it to just this 2, just this one. Shift. Let me remove it. Let me give it another server name. Hope you understand what I'm doing, right? Huh? Let me give it another server name. I call it lab training for enthusiasts Feb.
Is the recording still on? Is the recording still on?
Is the what?
Is the recording still on?
Yes, it's still on, yes.
Okay.
So what I did now, I just reduced the server. You know, you cannot be updating 3 servers at the same time. So that was why one ran successfully, the other 2 failed because it says an instance of update is already running. So you cannot be overloading the system. It cannot work. So now let's run this thing. If I run it now, it's supposed to work. Because why? It's just one server. What is this saying? I didn't save it. Benny, what are you doing? Server 1, server 2. Which server? Which server am I calling? Let me see my Ansible playbook. I'm calling web server. This is the host. Save. Let me remove all these servers.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so if we can't install it, like install numerous servers at once, I mean, does that not mean that it is defeating the aim of the automation in Ansible?
No, what happened in this case is that the 3 local hosts, you see all these local hosts, they are all in this particular MacBook. You understand? So when I say update, what will happen, what is going to happen is that it's going to be updating one update will be running. That one will not round up. Another update will be running. You understand? MacBook does not have that capacity. So assuming this, you see these addresses, this remote server, if it was actually a public IP address or a private IP address that this system have access to connect to, you understand? What would have happened is that this system will be all of them will be updating at the same time. But it's like I'm sending an instruction to one laptop. You understand? That is why you had that update issue. You understand? Because these three addresses that I mentioned here, these two addresses that you see here, they are in this system. Do you know that? They are local host, different port of the local host. You understand? Do you understand? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I know.
So they are in this, they are all in this server, they are all in this system.
Okay.
So all these
So,
I just generated different.
more like we want to install 3 servers inside this particular system.
Yes. So if we are running update in this nature, it will not work because one update have to complete before the other one continues, right? That was why we had that error we had before, this error. So even if you look at it, one was running, the other one have to stop because the other two cannot run at the same time. That is why I said failed. But now what I did, I just have to reduce the server to this. But for you to test this work, if it works, is this. You see this server now, you can see the connection. I'm using local. You understand? If it was external part, maybe I want to use SSH to connect to it. Connection will be what? 22, right? Then the IP address or the public IP address will be there. Then I'll put the variable, which is the name. I'll put the secret, which is like the SSH key. I will run it. So most times you always advise to use put your Ansible server inside your AWS infrastructure, mostly in Bastion host. So you from your Bastion host run updates on all your services, install your services. You understand? So when you are deploying your Terraform, you can deploy your Terraform to also create your Ansible server for you. So when your Ansible server is running, you now use your Ansible server to be patching all those services. Do you understand? Like what I was just explaining here. Excuse me. What I was explaining here. Here's our presentation. What I was explaining here. This is your Ansible server. These are other servers. So that IP address you saw just now, they were all actually different server name. You understand me? So I want to install update. If you can run update on 500 servers, as you can see here, I only listed how many servers here. This is just one. So I remove these two now because I want to run update, but because it cannot work. But if I'm not running update, I'm installing an application. It's a different ballgame. For example, now let's install an application on these servers. So I'll remove this. Understand? So what have I done now? I've made these servers 3. This is 3 server. I can create more server out of it. So it's a local host now, you understand? Maybe I can do server 4. Then I have to change the IP to 514. Then I can say server 5. And change it to 15. So I'm saying you should connect to it local. They are a local system. You should connect to these IP addresses and everything. The name of this host is the server. So in this case, I cannot run update because if I run update, it's supposed to be running one after the other. You understand? But because they are all the same server, So it's going to overwork the system. But what I can do, I can install another application inside. For example, I can delay it. There's a way you can also delay it. I think we'll do that one in our next class. You can delay it so that it will not be working. For example, if I want to ping, it will not be running consecutively. Maybe one will run first, the other one will run second, the other one will run third. Like this is availability pinging. This is Homebrew update. Then Homebrew, I think let's look at Homebrew install. Ansible playbook. Let's say install. This is upgrade. This is state. You can say this is state, this is install. Name for state present install option with understand. So let's look at name update Homebrew true state update Homebrew true for community Homebrew for then let's install kind. You know, kind is normally if you want to run basic Ansible, you first of all update that server before you install. You understand? Normally that's the best practice, but because they are all in one server, we are going to remove this, only update this server. Let's just install an application. Let's call it name. Which application? Let's install kind. Kind is a Kubernetes version, you understand, which is very light. Then I'll say which other thing? I think state, then running or presence running. So now what am I doing now? First of all, before you install, you have to check if the servers are running by pinging them. You understand me? If you ping them, the ping was successful, then you install kind name kind. Normally, you're supposed to, after you ping, the next thing is you update, you understand? After updating, you now install. Now we are installing kind in all of these servers. So if I run it again, Ansible, let me save. Okay, come here. Ansible playbook install -20. Let me just run it. Oh, see, you can see what is going on now. Now it said false value state must be present or installed or latest or upgrade or linked. Okay, let's use latest. Mostly that one is for services. Let's use. So what Ansible first of all do, he first of all run this state before he runs the application, because the state means check. So if he check, say, okay, did we even have kind at all? If we have kind, is it the latest kind? If it's not the latest kind, what he will do, it will install kind, the latest kind. So look at it. So what has happened now? It has successfully installed kind in my system. If I say kind version, I'm supposed to come back with something. Kind version. Will tell me to see kind is installed. Understand? So any application you want to install, for example, all your application. So you have to put your process that you want to use to install your application before you install your application. You can also add it. So just mention anything. You can run this now. If you have your Ansible playbook running in your system, just try this. Let me just send this to you. Now, what I'm saying, sometimes it gives you error like deprecation, like interpretation. So I just told him that even if there's deprecation issue, you should not warn me or give me all those kind of useless and you understand? But in production environment, you have to enable this. So maybe to run through use your application, if there's anyone that is deprecated, I mean, that is no longer supported, it will warn you that application, you remove it. Then the interpreter will also tell you that. So I just silence that too. So let me copy this to you. Just try and run it. Then on your Ubuntu, this time you are not going to use Brew, Homebrew. You are using apt because you are running an Ubuntu system, right? So let me give you the server, create a folder, name it server, then just create. There are many, I have so many playbooks we need to run, but this is just the basic. If you can understand this basic, then we can go ahead. I think let me just give you the one that have apt so that you won't. I think this one is oh, let me not give you this. Let me give you the simple one. Let me give you a simple one. This one is good. Logic server name. No, this one is we want to do this one later. I want something that is simple that you not require you asking me questions that will lead to another question, that will lead to another question. At the end of the day, we will leave where we are supposed to go. Carry us go where we don't know. Okay, now let's use a simple. Okay, we can still run this one. But just that instead of using that homebrew that you saw there, don't use homebrew. You use a kind, right? You use apt, right? You understand? So let's see what we have. I think I can stop recording. Do you have any question? Huh? Any question?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I have no vex, so I have a question.
Go ahead.
All right, so when you were building the Ansible scripts, there's another particular page that was not, I think it was just a text here, .txt format. So now I want to ask, is it for every time we are building, probably we are building an Ansible script, then you have to build a text script also beside it? Or now just as we were doing Terraform yesterday and we built with just one particular script, can we just build with one particular script without other dependent scripts or other dependent file types?
Yes, I think I've done that. Yes, I've done one simple file, one simple script. You understand? That means it's basically going to be just one server that you are working on, localhost. But if you are working with more remote servers, that is designed to, I told you this Ansible is designed not just for your local system. It's for more of servers, maybe your node. Maybe you are running a Kubernetes engine and you want to be updating your nodes every time. So that's going to be a different ballgame. So that is why it's better you just have a file, that TXT that carries all the server, you understand? Then you have another file that carries the secret, or you have the environment variable. That means you put the secret in your environmental variable so that people cannot just go there and copy the secret. You understand? Just the way we also use SDK to authenticate, you understand? So that they won't go and collect your secret. Then you can just run your Ansible playbook. For you to connect to server, just understand that you need your SSH key, right? Your PEM key. You need your IP address. or DNS, and you need the port, the connection, you understand me? So these are the three things you have to put. But if you want to run an Ansible in this local system, why not? You don't need to be putting all those hosts, but the host will just be local host, or you just declare the host here. You understand me? You just declare your host, put your IP address here, but that is not why you are even using Ansible. You understand? So hope I'm able to answer that. I'm going to share more documentation. We're going to learn more. This is just an introductory class. I think maybe on Saturday we'll run more playbook. You understand? But just run that first one and let's see what we have. Like you can see this with just this simple Ansible playbook. Now that 3 applications I see you guys should install last time. And Docker, and what? I'm going to install Docker. Even as you have to install Ansible. So you can even
AWS CLI, Terraform.
Can just install Docker and install Ansible. Then use your Ansible to install AWS Terraform. Imagine if I want to install 20 servers. Before, this is used to be just somebody's work. Your work is just to make sure that you update all the patches every time. But because of the help of Ansible, anybody give you that work now, it's just like you have not given you a task. You just prepare your Ansible playbook and run. You understand? You can also use Ansible to deploy infrastructure in AWS. You can use Ansible to deploy to manage CI/CD. Yes, Ansible also used to manage CI/CD, but it's more easier when you are just using for configuration management. You see, why is it called configuration management? Because you have to declare the configuration name, understand me, and what you're going to use to deploy. So, okay, continue.
No, I'm not saying anything.
Okay, we're going to, okay, just continue. Install, do run it. So let's see what we have. Let me stop recording. I think we'll do more complex one, but let's try this simple one first.